About 6 decades ago, the band that would become the Grateful Dead got their start in the South Bay. And as you might imagine, memories of that time are a little hazy. Len Ramirez introduces us to a pair of historians working to unravel the mystery of where the legendary band got their start.
It's all part of the great mystery.
It's the long, strange trip, right, Mark?
Yeah,
Dan Orloff and Mark Purdy are rock fans and South Bay rock historians, and they've spent 2 decades trying to solve a 60-year-old mystery. Where in San Jose did one of rock's greatest bands have their first ever performance as the Grateful Dead? They thought they had it pinpointed here, where 5th Street now dead ends at San Jose City Hall.
Which would be right over there behind these walls, and actually on the side of the current San Jose City Council chambers.
It was December 4th, 1965. The group had just changed their name from the Warlocks to the Grateful Dead, and a friend, counterculture figure Ken Kesey, invited them to play at a house party where he was holding one of his infamous psychedelic acid tests. Purdy, a former sports columnist for the Mercury News, interviewed people who said they were there, and it was inside this large Victorian house.
And for years, that was the accepted thing.
The house once stood at 43 South 5th Street. It was moved in the early 2000s to St. John Street to make way for City Hall. But now a potential rock relic has just surfaced, putting a sour note on the story that it happened here. It is a handmade crayon poster for the acid test party, which was just put up for auction by an anonymous owner who said she removed it from a nearby telephone pole on the night of the party. But the poster lists the party location as 38 South 5th Street, not 43, and the house at 38 burned down decades ago. Dan and Mark have been analyzing photocopies of the original poster ever since it reemerged.
I caught it first because of a news feed.
Yeah.
And I was like really happy. Oh my God, after 20 years, we're going to see the poster that commemorated 43 South 5th as the acid test.
This is actual physical evidence.
8 seconds later, I see 38 and I called Mark, oh, C-R-A-P, right? And then the journey began.
Yeah.
Mark went back to the drawing board and compared old city aerial photos with modern-day maps to see where 38 would have stood. And he literally marched off the plot lines to verify, to his relief, that the new location was still within the City Hall Plaza.
I'm still unraveling the mystery of why the poster says that, and everyone seems to say here, including somebody I've interviewed who was actually at the party.
But what could possibly account for the 2 conflicting locations?
I want to be kind in how I say this. This was 60 years ago, and people were taking LSD.
Even though the 2 houses were once across the street from each other and both locations are still at City Hall, getting the location right matters to rock history and legions of deadheads.
I encourage anyone who was there that night and remembers anything to come forward and give us more information.
It is a mystery Dan and Mark would like to finally solve soon. Dan is the founder of San Jose Rocks, a rock history group which is now raising money for an historical marker to be dedicated this December 4th, the 60th anniversary of the party and the performance by the Grateful Dead.
It's not just a long, strange trip, it's a wild, strange story, and probably incorporated 40.
The only question is a big one. Where exactly did the trip begin?
Maybe it was in both houses.